Hello, welcome to this episode of Borderline Attack. My name is Shantia Hannity, and today we will be speaking with three presidential hopefuls on the topic of illegal immigration. Let's meet our first guest.
Good evening. My name is the Zodiac Kill. Sorry, Teddy Cruz.
Good evening, and welcome to Borderline Attack. Let's start off with some questions.
Alright.
First, what is your opinion on border security?
Well, I believe more is needed than what we have. People are coming to this country at truly alarming rates and are stealing the clothes that real Americans could be wearing.
Do you mind expanding on the clothes issue?
Well, if you think about it like this, if there are more people in the country, then there will be more people who buy clothes, yes? Well, by that logic, immigrants are stealing the clothes that true Americans could be wearing.
Well, that is certainly logic I have never heard before. Very interesting indeed. Let's move on to our second question. What do you believe is the answer to border security?
I thought you never asked. The answer is really quite simple. I think we must build a big river. A very big river.
Do you have an idea for the name of this river?
Yeah, the Grand River.
So in Spanish, that would be the Rio Grande?
I don't speak Mexican, only Spanish.
Okay, moving on to our last question before we take one from the audience. What do you plan on doing with the illegal immigrants currently in our country?
Again, the answer is really quite simple. We must put them to work in clothes factories back in Mexico to make up for the clothes they stole from the American people.
So your solution is to employ them in a different country instead of employing Americans at home?
Well, no. Yeah, let's take an audience question.
That's my... whatever.
What do you think about the Democratic Party not nominating a candidate in this year's election?
It doesn't make a difference. They're not true Americans anyways. The Republican Party was the party of Lincoln, a real American.
What is a real American?
A real American has three flags. One in the front yard, one inside the house, and one as a bumper sticker.
Wasn't immigrants important for America's history?
Why would you ask such a ridiculous question? Obviously, only the real immigrants mattered.
Okay, I think we should end the interview there. Next, we'll be speaking with Christina Christie, a candidate from New Jersey. Hello, Christina. Why don't you take a seat?
I don't want that chair. Get me another chair. I want that one.
Will someone please get Miss Christie that chair? Now that we're all settled, do you mind telling me how you plan to solve the country's immigration problem?
Off-topic question.
Actually, that is the topic of this interview.
Sorry, I didn't realize. Well, there are many proposed solutions, but I believe there's only one correct one. We must build a dome.
A dome, you say? Do you mind expanding on that idea a bit?
Are you deaf? I think my idea is pretty clear. If the country were to invest its money into building a dome, all of these immigrants wouldn't be getting in.
But Americans wouldn't be getting out.
Off-topic question, you have been stopped.
It was a statement. Okay, on to our final question before we take one from the audience. What do you plan on doing with the illegal Mexican immigrants currently in the country?
Send them home!
Just as a quick follow-up question. Are you in favor of sending all immigrants back home?
Of course, that would be ideal. Send everyone back except those who came over on the Mayflower in 1620, the day this great continent was built.
So you mean to say that before 1620, North America did not exist?
Obviously.
Okay then, let's move on to our audience question.
Where do you plan to place this dome?
I plan to place it on the whole outline of the country, from Washington to Maine to Florida and over to California.
So the entire country will be trapped? What about air traffic? Why not a wall?
Are you saying that Donald D. Trump would be better than I am? You have been stopped. Take a seat and shut up.
Well, thank you, Miss Christie. Our next guest is really something special. Miss Donald D. Trump. Hello, Miss Trump. Shall we start with some questions? Oh, it seems Miss Trump will be tweeting this interview. Let's do this thing! I love it! Let's get started with the first question. How do you plan on solving America's illegal immigrant situation? Well, obviously, this is a very big problem. Lots of very bad people. We want to solve it very well. Very fast. We need a big solution. A huge one. Do you mind expanding on that? It seems you have avoided the question. Obviously, you didn't read what I wrote correctly, but I will explain again. The only way to stop immigrants from coming into our great, beautiful, beloved, amazing, perfect, impressive, large, rich, incredible country is to build a spaceship and send the rest of the world to Mars because America deserves everything. Hashtag Space Force, hashtag yes. A very interesting answer, and a very creative one at that. How do you plan on paying for this Space Force? One word, Mexico will pay for it. A very effective way of paying, not a cent out of the beneficiaries' pockets. Now for our second question. What do you plan to do with the illegal immigrants currently in this amazing country? There are many ways to solve the problem. I thought of all the ways already. All of them. Maybe even hundreds. I worked very, very hard. The best way, I thought of this way all by myself, is to just tell them no. Just no? Would you please explain how this would work? No. Okay, now some questions from the audience.
You said that Mexico would pay for the Space Force. How much would Mexico have to pay exactly?
$500 billion plus taxes, of course.
Well, that's a lot, don't you think?
Well, I don't know how Mexico is going to pay, because they're not rich like us Americans. They can sell some tacos to help Obrador. I assume some are good people.
Wrong. They are all criminals and rapists.
And that will conclude our show. I believe Miss Trump needs a Coke and a rare hamburger. Thank you to the candidates for coming on, the audience members who asked questions, and most importantly, our viewers at home. Next week, we have Caitlin Bennett, more commonly known as Gun Girl, on the show. Tune in then. Good night.